Hello, good afternoon. This is Dr. Jenn. Happy Thursday from Western North Carolina. And I want to take a couple minutes to talk to you about shoulds. You know, there is a saying that we should all over ourselves. In other words, like we should all over ourselves. And that's because shoulds are often expectations, even demands that have been given to us from our parents, our teachers, clergy, basically people of authority, and often when we were younger. A lot of times shoulds operate within us and are, in some cases, constantly on a loop, impacting our daily decisions, impacting what we're experiencing in our life or what we're not experiencing in our life, and we're not always aware of them. Now, of course, if you're watching this, say hello. Let me know where you're jumping in from, where you're joining from, and feel free to be part of the conversation. Ask questions, answer questions that I might share. I love for there to be a dialogue. And I can be sure that you're getting what you need and are looking for when you do that. Because otherwise, I'm doing my best, but that I can't know unless you tell me. So, again, glad that you're here, whether it's live or at the replay. Now, one of the reasons I'm talking about shoulds today is because they continue to show up in my life despite the work that I do around them. The good news, though, is the number of shoulds that operate, certainly the ones that I'm aware of, has decreased drastically over the years. So I don't feel like they're this heavy weight. So if you feel like shoulds are just pressing down on you and you're carrying the weight of the world, just know that that can change because I can help you do that. This video is a great place to start. The other thing that I'm noticing about the shoulds is, again, that I'm aware of them and that I have choices on how I respond to them. That they're no longer something that I find myself doing and following because I should. I don't feel like I'm being picked up and whipped along on the path of these shoulds, that I am consciously taking steps to change them in one form or another. And that feels really good. I feel much more empowered and proactive around shoulds. And so one of the first steps is to become aware of the shoulds that are operating in your life. So there's a number of ways you can do that. You can literally sit down and go, okay, what do I think I should do? And you can start a list. And another way to word it is, what do others expect from me? And others, again, can be spouses, people in a relationship, friends, family, co-workers, bosses, certainly, but other positions of leadership, and create that list. The second step would be to look at that list. And do you believe that those are things that you should do or should not do? Are they true for you? You're going to evaluate them. Some of them you're like, okay, yes. So if you believe that, yes, I should do this, and it feels right and aligned for you, then it's not a should. It's I get to, I choose to, I want to. And I say that because should has a different energy and a different impact than I get to, I choose to, I want to. And if you're not quite sure about that, say each of those statements and just pay attention to how it feels. For most, should feels heavy. Should feels like pressure. Should, in many cases, doesn't feel good. Now, another way to identify shoulds in your life is be aware of how often you use should in a sentence. Every time you say I should, add it to your list. Because it's good for you to start paying attention to that. Another way is if there are people that you're interacting with on a regular basis, and certainly people that you trust, then ask them to go, whoa, you just said should when you do. of course, be prepared when they actually follow through on it. Because sometimes we don't always recognize those shoulds, but others do. And sometimes we need help with that. And so it's good to get other people involved. Again, people that you feel good doing that with and people that you trust. Because shoulds can have a great impact on how we move through our life. Again, if I do something because I should versus I'm going to do something because I want to or I get to, how I'm going to feel about each of those experiences, even if I'm doing the same thing, changes. Because if I'm thinking I want to do this or I get to do this, I feel good about that. It's a choice for me, by me. And it's something that I get to share with others. But if I'm operating in the energy of I should be doing this, that again feels like pressure, feels like tension, feels like heaviness. You might not feel good in your body. You might actually have pain and discomfort. You might develop feelings towards the person or people who are expecting you to follow through on those shoulds. So even though you may be doing something nice, it doesn't feel good for you. And often the people that you're doing it for recognize in some way that you're not happy. I mean, how often has that happened with you? Where somebody's helping you do something, and the whole time that they're helping you do something, you know they'd rather be anywhere else. Doesn't feel good. So be aware and then evaluate them and make new choices around them. I can tell you when I stopped doing things because I should and made new choices because I got to, because I wanted to, I know how I felt about me and how I felt about what I was doing changed drastically. I felt so good. Other people felt better. And, you know, the reason this is coming up today is because here in Western North Carolina, we had a tropical storm come through. And we were supposed to get all this rain over the course of a couple of days, today being one of them. And instead of rain, it's a bright, sunshiny day here. And I had a day planned, in my mind anyway, of easing throughout my day because it's raining. Who wants to leave the house when it's raining? Especially when it's pouring. It was supposed to be windy. Gusts up to 40 and 50 miles per hour. So I planned on hunkering down, sleeping in, reading a book, watching a movie, maybe taking a nap, probably taking a nap, and getting things done in between. But just kind of a lazy, relaxed day. Because I find it easy to give myself permission to do that when there's not a reason for me to go outside. I love being outside. I love being in nature. I love being, I love being outside. And we've got gorgeous, wonderful places here in Western North Carolina. So when it's nice like this, even right now, they're in the back of my mind, like, you should get outside, you should get outside, you should get outside. And to use my own advice, my own recommendations, I am going to choose when I'm done this to go outside. I get to go outside because there's nothing that's forcing me to stay here. So, what shoulds are showing up in your life? I want to know. Feel free to comment them. Put them in the comments here. Where do you think those shoulds came from? Do you know where they came from? Are they in alignment? Are they congruent to how you want to be living your life? How you want to be experiencing it? And what can you choose differently regarding those shoulds? And of course, if you want help in any step of this process, reach out. You can reach out by commenting in the comments or commenting directly. Dr. Jenn at theintuitivephoenix.com is my email address. Of course, I'm on Facebook as well. So either of those ways, feel free to reach out because I'd love to support you in leaving the shoulds behind because it's time to stop shoulding all over you. All right, everyone. I'm sending you lots of love. And of course, all things fucking fantastic till we connect again. I love y'all. Mwah. Enjoy your day. I'm going to go get in the sun.